For background, my dad has been an alcoholic my entire life. I know it, my family knows it, etc. The only person who won't admit it to themselves is my dad. It ruined 2 marriages for him and put us in dangerous situations as kids. There were times when he would get drunk and drive us places. One time in particular, he got so drunk that he couldn't stay conscious fully. I was 12. And we had been over at his buddy's house across town. He had me drive us home, and somehow I had managed to do it, although poorly. In spite of the constant reckless behavior, he has never been caught or arrested for this. Now, I am a mom with kids. Several months ago, my dad showed up at our house while I was completing some home improvement projects upstairs. Without my consent, he convinced my 10-year-old autistic son, who doesn't understand my dad's drunken state, to come with him on an errand. He put him in the front seat and drove him, drunk. They didn't take long, and since my son views his grandpa as a safe adult, he went with him without question. I didn't even realize they had gone until I came into the living room about 5 minutes later, where the kids were supposed to be taking turns playing a racing game while lunch cooked, and he was gone. The 2 younger kids told me, "Son went with Grandpa." I immediately panicked and started calling his phone, only for them to stroll in a short time later after running to the gas station just up the street. I lost my mind seeing that he was drunk and screamed at him to get the F off my property before I call the police, and how dare he endanger my child. Since then, he has begged to be back in our lives and has said he has stopped drinking, blah blah. I'm not dumb enough to believe that old song and dance, but told him he is no longer allowed to drive any family members or be with them unsupervised. I also told him that if I found out he was driving under the influence again, I would report him to the police. Fast forward to last week. We were at a family cookout, and it didn't take long to notice he was sneaking away periodically. I immediately knew he was taking shots, likely from a stash in his garage, and it was very easy to notice the signs. He then announced that he thought we needed more charcoal for the grill, so my partner jumped up and said they'd be happy to go get some. My dad vehemently argued and said he would go and it would only take a few minutes because the store was nearby. I looked at him and said, "You don't need to drive since you've been drinking." He got embarrassed and acted offended that I was accusing him, and he denied it. Here's where I might be the a-hole. As soon as he jumped into his car and pulled out of the driveway, I called the police and reported him as a drunk driver. He was pulled over and then arrested, DUI, just down the block from his house. Someone let him and his new wife know that it was me who called, and I was so angry about his selfish actions that I didn't deny it. Now he will likely lose his job, and they are freaking out about losing their house and being financially ruined. They're telling me that I'm the a-hole because I have potentially ruined their lives when I could have insisted he not go and take his keys or something. I replied that he knew what he was doing was wrong, and that I can't help but think of the neighborhood children playing outside for Memorial Day being mowed down by him. I also said it isn't my responsibility to manage his alcoholism for him. We have essentially cut contact for the time being, but my stepmom keeps trying to reach out and talk to me. She's incredibly upset but says she understands and that she knows he has a problem, while my cousins and grandma are calling me a cop sympathizer and snitch. Am I the *hole? AITA for telling my sister I'm not her co-parent. I, 28F, have a sister, 39F, who has a husband who is never present, always working, or taking on side gigs. I consider it all to avoid actually raising the children he financially provides to. They have 5 children, one of which has major behaviors and mental health issues. I'm always the one to defend him and try to soothe him when engaging in disruptive behaviors. He's 15. Today he has a soccer game, and it happens to be at the same time my other sister's daughter has a dance recital. I already committed to going to see her dance. My sister with the 15-year-old calls me to see if I can take him to his practice, which includes staying and supervising due to his behaviors, knowing I'm going to the recital. Long story short, we went back and forth that I don't mind helping, but the times overlap, so I wouldn't be able to. She kept saying she needs me to do it because she's participating in a community event. I became upset because these aren't my kids. I'm not picking sides on who to be present for, and even if I were, I'd still be more present for my nephew, even unintentionally. I told her no, and that it's not my responsibility to figure it out for her.